Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Your brother Ratazah Allah from GMS London Camp. First and foremost, when they give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings to the hopeful and sincere and elect. Just a quick one. The latest news and situation. The war to end all wars, the third war that cometh quickly, man. This guy Trump, he's losing his marbles, man. He's not playing with a straight deck, basically, man. He's coming up with more brash words and it's inciting more threats and violence against the Iranians regarding the Strait of Hormuz blockage, which is basically leaving America out there to basically implode on itself, and the Iranians are basically causing America to be isolated and from all these other nations as well. Even Americans or allies are turning against them because of America's bullying tactics, so to speak. And now they're saying they don't even want to be a part of NATO, but at the same time they want their help, but at the same time they're also useless. We're spending billions and trillions on a partnership that's not in benefit, basically to their benefiting them to their advantage. And this whole Strait of Hormuz situation is definitely an advantage of the Iranians. The Armenians are raging and they're using all their wits and all their things that they can use against America to economically to cause chaos over there in the West. And it's happening on a live stage, man, affecting the world markets, man, globally, geopolitically, and all of that. So now this guy Trump has issued a 48-day a warning for another. They issued a ceasefire, which the Iranians just basically repelled and said, "F your ceasefire. There ain't gonna be no peace." It's just straight up all out war against the West. And then Trump issued a 48-hour, basically expulsion to open up the Strait of Hormuz. And because Iranians are not, basically bowing down to the big bad wolf, now Trump's losing his marbles online and just straight up saying what's on his mind, man. It's like, open up the effing, borders, or it's over and all that. I'm gonna read the Twitter accounts in a minute. It says Trump issues explosive laden threat to Iran over Hormuz Strait blockage. So this is what these Iranian wants. They don't want no peace with America, man, because they know that America is full of shit, man, and their president, the King Trump, Caesar Nero, is nothing but a backstabbing, fork-tonguing, speaking devil, man. You can't trust him as far as you can throw them, because this whole war started supposedly over negotiations. They was having negotiations, and then America, tried to stab them, sneak attack them from the back, man. So the Iranians ain't falling for America's tricks anymore, man. They don't want to come to the table with you. They want you off the world map, economically, physically and financially. They want to destroy you, man, totally. So that's what's gonna happen, and that's pursuant to the scriptures too. It says U.S. President Donald Trump has published expletive laden posts on social media where he's threatened to destroy Iran's power plants and bridges if it fails not to meet the Tuesday deadline to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to all shipping. He repeated an early threat to unleash hell to the U.S. media. There was a good chance of being reached with Tehran. So this devil, speaks with smooth words, but war's in his heart, man. As the scripture says, Iran mocked his ultimatum, dismissing it helpless, nervous, and stupid. Yeah, desperate times calls for desperate measures, and you can see it, man. These devils are in straits right now. America, they're in straits, man. And they're now desperate times are calling for desperate measures. They're just coming out here with the brash threats, Taco Bell's on the loose right now. And he's gonna have to stand by what he's saying, because you can't take back the words that you're saying. You know, you can't say you want to you want to have a peace treaty, and then in the same breath you're saying you're going to destroy and totally annihilate your so-called enemy. And you know, it just shows that you're not focused, man. You're double-minded. You know, and even scriptures curse out people that are double-minded, man. They're not to be trusted, man. Double-minded person is not stable in all these ways. And Donald Trump is definitely double-minded. That nigga's triple-minded, man. That guy's all over the damn place, man. I think he just had a heart attack. They said the other day. It's supposedly he was you know, MIA and all of that, but he's still, you know, he's still alive and kicking, so to speak. And he wants he's still on a mission to take over the Middle East, man. But it's not gonna work. Him and his Israelis counterparts, it's not gonna work for them, man. It's gonna work against them. He says Trump's new threat came after he announced the second crew member of the US fighter jet downed over Iran had successfully been rescued in an operation deep inside hostile territory. And that's another thing as well, because this guy said that they annihilated the Iranian radar system, but then they had the capabilities to shoot down two planes. They had the anti-radar or anti-missile systems that shot down two planes, man. But they were saying that, you know, Trump was saying that Iran Salakia's radar system was annihilated. So he lied, man. He said they ain't got those capabilities, but they managed to shoot down two US fighter jets. You know, and in one video, there was, you know, holding up the from the rubble and stubble of one plane, it was holding up a guy's underwear and shit. The Iranians are just they're raging, man. And they're taking the piss out of America. And even though and they got this animation as well, another one from AP News that I've seen that came out the other day, which I'm gonna show you right now. The Iranians are just taking the piss out of America, man. They're mocking them. Look, now they got a new animation, the APTV, APT News network, man, of America, basically showing you that America's modern day Egypt, and the modern day Pharaoh is who? King Trump, the cruel lord, man. Isaiah 19. He's the cruel lord, man. He's the king of Pharaoh. He's the king. He's Pharaoh of modern day Egypt, man. That's King Trump. And then the Iranians are trying to pose like they're, you know, they're Moses and all that, with the illustration here in the far left-hand corner, like to say that Moses was Arabic and all that. Nah, man, Moses wasn't Arabic. As a so-called dark-skinned man from the tribe of Judah. I mean, from the tribe of Levi, Salakia, from the house of Judah. He was a dark-skinned man, though, a man of color. He weren't no Arab-looking like guy. He weren't no Palestinian, so-called Palestinian-looking like guy. He was a dark-skinned man, you know, with woolly hair and a woolly beard, like predominantly how Jake's look, you know, with a nappy hair, so to speak. And he was a so-called black man, and he was fighting against another black nation, because the original Egyptians are dark-skinned too, very dark-skinned in fact, you know, jet black, tall, lanky, modern-day Sudanese today. That's in over there in the interiors of Africa. So, you know, but the modern day Pharaoh right now, King Trump, modern day Egypt, the place of bondage for the children of Israel, is America, man. Showing you that America and modern day Egypt are in a line. Spiritually, it's called Sodom and Egypt. And then you got the American flag, and then what you got behind it? Nuclear missiles, man. Showing you burning America. So that's going to be America's fate. America's only going to be taken down by their own wicked devices, being those nuclear missiles. So this is beautiful. So the Iranians and the Arabs and all that, the dragons of Arabia and the Armenians, they know exactly who the devil is, man. They know exactly who the great Satan is. It's these Edomites, man, and they currently reside over there in the land of Edom, aka America, aka modern day Egypt, man. And it's gonna get burnt with fire, according to the scriptures. It's gonna get nuked off the face of the earth. You know, that's what's gonna happen to America. They're gonna be destroyed, and King Trump is leading the way. He's the seventh. He's the last trumpet. He's the last trumpet, man. He's part of that seventh trumpet that's gonna be blown when the nuclear missiles are flying across shores to the interiors of America to burn that bitch with fire, man. That's gonna be America's fate. That's America's final destiny, so to speak, final destination. So this picture here is beautiful, man. It's an illustration that's showing you the Iranians, they don't fear America, man. They're just mocking them because they know that they're a bunch of punks, man. And their leader, Taco Bell, you know, the Trump always chickening out. Bell Taco, he's not a real warlord or war general, man. He's a fucking celebrity that they put in the Oval Office, man. He's an embarrassment. Like America's become a laughing stock on the world stage, man. So this is the paragraph here below contains very strong language. It says he said on Tuesday on his Twitter account, it says this will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait. This guy's really losing it, man. Just open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you will be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald G.J. Trump. No, this guy's mad. This guy's nuts, man. Just open the fucking straits, man. You crazy bastards. And who's more crazier than the so-called white man? You got the nerve to call someone else crazy, man. You devils are fucking bonkers, man. This is afterwards, the Fox News told there was a good chance a deal would be reached by Monday, but considering blowing up everything and taking over the oil, if a deal ends, the war was not reached quickly. There's going to be no deal, man. Iranians don't care how many threats you put towards them, man. They ain't opening the Strait of Hormuz for no one, especially you Americans, man. They're dealing with who they're dealing with, and that's it. It's closed to you Americans and your American allies, to Israel and all that, but to everyone else that's got the cash in hand. And what's the deal? Justly, they're dealing with them, man, like the Chinese, so on and so forth. But that Strait of Hormuz is closed to you Americans, man, and it's frustrating America because it's causing mayhem in their markets and also Europe too. Like Great Britain's gonna feel the crunch. They're already feeling the crunch, man, in the housing and economically over here in the UK, and they're definitely gonna feel the crunch in America, man, in the next coming weeks and months, because that's all that backstock of them not opening the Strait of Hormuz is causing a domino effect worldwide, man. Economically, man, it's fucking up all the markets, surging of oil prices and all that. Now they're saying that a gallon of oil, at the pump's gonna come up to $200 per gallon soon, man. Probably even more than that soon because of this situation, man. So this is causing nothing but hell on earth, which is beautiful, man. It's causing hell for the West, America. So that's why this guy's basically frustrated to the point of no return. He's just saying, open up the fucking straits, man. You crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. See, these devils, they speak smooth as, as the scripture said, wars in their heart, man. That's all these devils are really about. They're about stealing, pillaging, and robbing. And they're trying, entice you to get, to fall into their trap for the goyim to fall in. And those that don't want to listen, that's when they start to reinforce that their true nature. He's just showing their true colors. America's true colors is that they're hateful people. They increase riches in that which is not theirs. They're a bunch of thieves, low life scum of the earth, devil bastards that need to be eradicated and put into slavery. And that's what it is, man. This is Psalms 55 and 20. Ye have put forth hands against such to be at peace with him. Ye have broken his covenant. And that's what this devil's done throughout history, especially with our people, starting with the North American Indians. He made covenants with them, treaties, so to speak, and then he broke every last one, even though we treated them fairly, man. Tribe of Gad, Reuben, and all of that. We was at peace with these devils, man. We treated them fairly. We took them in, so to speak. Clothed them, housed them, and all that. And look how they repaid us with fucking disease, warfare, and straight up savage behavior. But then at the same time, same breath, they called us savages. They called our people savages after we fucking, taught them how to live off the land and clean themselves up. Bunch of devils, man. It says, and the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war's in his heart. Yeah, he comes with them enticing words, man. negotiations and peace treaties and all this BS, but war's in his heart, man. The same breath he's figuring out to do a sneak attack to destroy you, to get one over on you, man. It's all war tactics with this devil, man. He doesn't play fair. There's no such thing as a righteous devil. So the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, in his mind, man. Continually how they gathered together for war. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawing swords. Exactly, that's it. And now these nations have realized that, man. They can never trust their enemy, man. As the scripture says, never trust thine enemy, because as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. Basically, this devil can't change his ways, man. Just like a leopard can't change his spots. So let me read Isaiah 19, because that's the whole, point of that image that they showed, that illustration of that picture that I showed you there, of the cruel Lord, modern day Pharaoh of modern day Egypt, aka representing America. That's why they got the flag, stamped on the Egyptian pyramid, showing you that modern day Egypt is talking about America, man. And this guy Trump is doing a creative job in bringing America down to the ground. Isaiah 19 says a message to Egypt. This ain't talking about ancient Egypt. This is talking about modern day Egypt, man. This is modern day Egypt. It's talking about America. It says the burden of Egypt. You can replace Egypt with America or Babylon the Great. It says, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. And that's talking about our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai. How's he going to return in the second coming? By the clouds, by the chariots, so-called UFOs, man. It says, shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. Yeah, the Lord's going to destroy all the standing engraven images with the laser beams coming from the chariots, as well as the nuclear missiles that are going to be destroying the land. The Lord going to come and add more fire, man. And it says, in the heart of the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Yeah, how's it going to melt? From the nuclear fire. So the Lord Yahweh Shai is actually going to appear in the midst of nuclear war over America to deliver who? The elect, and to add more fire to the nuclear fire, which is going to engulf the whole land of America and turn it into a lake of fire. That's why you got, images of fire engulfing and destroying the pyramid, which represents America being destroyed by fire, man. The lake of fire. Talking about you're gonna bring hell upon you. You're gonna be living in hell very soon. America's gonna look like hell, so to speak, if it ever existed, because there's gonna be a lake full of on fire, man. Brought down to the grave, to dust, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. That's gonna be America's final call, man. Verse 4 says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. This is the cruel Lord right here, man. The fierce king. Esau Edom, man. Your guy DJ Trump, aka Caesar Nero, back in the flesh. So he's the cruel Lord, man, and these other nations know it, man. The Iranians know it, the Arabs know it, Persians, the Arabs, and which are Ishmael, the Persians representing Elam, the dragons of Arabia and the Carmanians. They know exactly who the great Satan is, and that's why they're warring with them, man. They're not going to let go. They're not going to stop. In the other animation, there was burning images of Baal. I think even in this cartoon animation, they're burning images of Baal, man, representing that satanic cauldron of worship that these devils are involved in from the elites, because they worship Baal and Molech and do all these damn child sacrifices, and witchcraft rituals and all their idol worship. So they show them Carmanians burning their images of Baal, man, burning their standing images, showing you that America's through, man. That witchcraft is not working anymore. It's not working in their favor. And a full moon too. It's funny because you got the full moon and it represents what? Moses represents, the full moon was the celebration or the solemn assembly of the Passover. That's when we celebrate or keep the solemn assembly of the Passover, the week of unleavened bread, starting on the 14th day at evening, which is on a full moon. So that's funny that they got Moses illustrated, even though they got him as a so-called Arab or whatever, which he's not an Arab. He's a so-called dark-skinned man from the tribe of Levi. But it's, an example of how we celebrate the Passover, when the Lord passed over ancient Egypt, you know, and that celebration starts on a full moon, man, which the apostles and elders have been going into, because you got guys in this truth, this thing of ours, being in this truth, celebrating and Passover on a new moon, when there's no, when the moon is basically dark, you can't see it in the sky. They think that's when you're supposed to celebrate the Passover, but that's not according to the scriptures, man. It says in the first month, 14th day at even. So basically 2 weeks into the first month, which will be on a full moon, when you follow the lunar calendar, that's when you're supposed to keep the night of the Passover, man. And America, just like ancient Egypt, is going to be destroyed, man. Only difference is modern day Egypt, which is America, is going to be destroyed by way of fire. In ancient Egypt, the ancient Egyptians, they was drowned in the Red Sea, you know. And Pharaoh and his army were drowned in the Red Sea, man. This time, America, which represents a modern day Egypt, is going to be drowned in fire, man. That's why the whole of America is going to be looking like a lake on fire. So that's spiritual in it as well, with this whole illustration here. Our customs are known worldwide, man. It's our people ignoramuses of our people that don't want to acknowledge the fact that we're the Israelites, man. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that want to stay stuck and stupid and stay in that slave mentality. But these other nations outside of America, the West, they know exactly who we are, man. They know of our customs as well. Somebody just, I think I've got 2 more precepts. I'm gonna close out. This is the main one I wanted to read anyway. Habakkuk 2 and 6. And I'll start from 5. It's yea, also because he transgresseth. I'll start from 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yeah, the so-called white man is, he's deranged in the brain, man. Insane in the membrane, man. Cypress Hill type. He's done, man. He's out of there, man. He's never been right, man. He can't. That's why he can't do the right thing. He's got the spirit of his forefather Cain, man. Just does wrong just for the sake of it, man. When he could do the right thing, It says, yea, also because he is transgressive by wine, he is a proud man. He's more proud than these Americans, man. This guy Trump is losing the war on all different parts, man. On all levels, they're losing the war, but they're still out there talking shit, about to say they're winning, man. And everyone outside of America can see that America's losing the war. Other than America, man, it don't make no fucking sense. But that's that pride, man. The pride of these devils, man. Says never keep it at home. Yeah, they never keep their business at home. They're always in other people's business, man. Sticking their nose in other people's business. That's what they're doing over there in the Middle East right now. All because of them Israelis, man. But they're always out there trying to steal other people's resources and, things ain't got nothing to do with them. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. It says, and it cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. That's what these devils done out throughout history. It's called colonization, man. Increasing that which is not theirs. That's what it says in the scripture. Woe unto them that increaseth that which is not his. I'm going to read that too. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taught proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. That's what these nations are saying now. They're fed up with you and your bullying tactics and your big bad wolfism and your taco spirit. They're fed up of you, man. All these, even your own allies are fed up of you because you're bringing them into a war that they don't want to be part of. That's why you're saying F NATO now. Because they don't want to, feed into your war propaganda and all of that, man. because they don't want to be destroyed off the back of you Americans, off some illegal war that you started. It says, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And with him that is laden with thick clay. And that's America. America's laden with thick clay, that heavy debt. That they instead of dealing with that situation, they're out here starting wars, man. Just causing all kinds of chaos on the earth, making it worse for themselves, man. America's never going to be made great again. Not with a leader like Trump in office, man. He promised you basically false promises. Told you he's going to be to bring peace to the Middle East and he's going to stop the war within 24 hours. And he's caused nothing but more chaos and more pillaging and more wars on the earth than ever before. In the presidency, man, he's destabilized his own government, man. Causing mass chaos, man, worldwide. All because of that pride, man. And you can't take that humble pride. You can't take the L. So that's why they're going to be led into that destruction, man. And all even their own allies are going to, bite them. So shall they not rise up suddenly, and shall bite thee, and await thee, and shall vex thee. And as thou shalt say, and thou shalt be for beauties for them. Yeah, they're gonna, enjoy it in your downfall, man. They're gonna be, satiated in seeing you go down. That's what the other nations are doing right now, especially over there in the Middle East. The Iranians, they're happy the way you're struggling, and you're stressed out, and you're making desperate measures, basically taking desperate measures because you're desperate, basically. As it says in that article, man, you devils are stressed out. So you're willing to do anything to try and keep yourself on top, man. But all you're doing is showing your weaknesses and showing how weak you are as a nation, man. You can't deal with a small country known as Iran, even though it's densely populated. But you can't deal with them because you're not built like them, man. They're ready for war. They've been preparing for your asses for the past 20 years. So they're built for the long haul, man. They want to go all out, a so-called forever war. But you Americans, you thought it was going to be a quick sojourner. Just go in there and steal and probably kidnap leaders and just the same shit you was doing over there in Venezuela, and thought it would be a quick regime change. And it's not even worked out in your favor. It's backfired. Everything's fucked up now. Your whole economy's about to tank, fall apart. Your money's devalued. No one wants to deal with the petrodollar no more. And now you're struggling to get resources, which is going to lead to, straight out of chaos, civil distress, civil war, martial law, all that stuff, which what the global elite want anyway, order through the chaos to bring forth their new world order. But yet and still, America's going to be destroyed, man. The American dream's turned into a nightmare. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land of the city and for those that dwell therein. Yeah, so you're going to reap what you sown, man. You devils are going to reap what you sown. Woe unto them that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. Yeah, you want all the oil. You want all their land. It says that he may set his nest on high, and that he may be delivered from the power of evil. So you devils are finished, man. You're going to reap what you sow, man. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Well, how was America established? By blood and iniquity, man. So this is the last precept here. I'm going to close out. Because it says you devils are greatly despised in Jeremiah 49. It says that, you're greatly despised amongst the nations, man. It says that in the same chapter here in Obadiah. But this is about your so-called allies. Even your own allies are setting you up for a great fool. Because now you're saying F NATO, fuck NATO. So in turn, the NATO is going to say fuck you too. That's when the 10 toes are going to hate the whore and burn her with fire, man. Revelation 17 and 16, it says Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread and have laid a wound under thee, there is none there's none understanding in them. Yeah, so all the shit that you've done is gonna come back to bite you in the asses. These other nations ain't forgot. What you've said, what you've done, all the sanctions, all the tariff wars and all that, and all the down talking, the stout nature If you're talking shit, talking down about your so-called allies, they're gonna remember, man, in that time of destruction, man. They're gonna remember that America caused this war, this illegal war, off their own pretenses of working with the Israelis, because that's who they work for, and they brought themselves into a provocation, a war that they don't want to be in, other nations don't want to be involved in, and then at the same time it's asking for their help, and then and in the same breath is shitting on them at the same time. So now they're gonna say, yeah, defend yourself. You saying defend yourself, go get your own oil. A couple days ago, you're saying for your own NATO counterparts in England and all that, saying go get your own oil. Don't be scared and all that. So now they're gonna tell you in your last hour, when you're fighting on your last, leg, so to speak, go and fight. Go and get your country back. Go and fight for your country, man. Go make America great again. You can do it by yourself. You don't need our help. As a matter of fact, we're gonna help the Iranians and throw more fire in your asses to see how you can get yourself out of that situation. And that's what's gonna happen. Talks about an evil thought and coming into these minds of these leaders, starting with Russia. And now they got even the Chechen soldiers over there from Russia jumping into the war, because America's going to be sending more boots on the ground. So now the Chechens, which represents the Russian fraction of their army, are going to jump in the war. So that's Gog and Magog right there, coming to defend and be a guard unto the Iranians, man, which are the modern day Persians today, Armenians, man. So this war, everything's going to the will, according to plan, so to speak, going to fulfilling the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua on every turn and every corner on the world stage, man. So the king's heart's in the hand of the Lord. So you devils are through, man. Esau, you're done. Esau's desperate now, and they're about to be destroyed very soon, man. So this is beautiful times, as brother's been saying. So this is definitely something to watch. But anyway, watching as well as pray, and we see what happens next. But Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakakodash Bakata, and shalom to the hopeful and sincere elect, man. Shalom.